Next topic is abortion. Abortion is eugenics. I'm gonna explain. It obviously is. I'm gonna explain a little bit, but abortion in the modern day is largely for these women who are too irresponsible to quote unquote adult, like the stupid word that they use, adulting. Who choose their partners based on bad boyness and like alpha chad bullshit rather than actual fatherly, how good the person would be as a father. And I was just thinking about abortion recently because I was thinking about Lawrence Fishburne for some reason, and like his daughter, who's a porn star, and like how he's, unfortunately, I feel bad because he's like a proud guy or whatever. Clearly, his daughter's like totally embarrassed him by going into porn, doing it openly, publicly, because her idol Kim Kardashian got famous that way and like all that crap. But yeah, I was thinking, damn, I couldn't even abort if I had a daughter. Like I would want to abort either way, but especially a daughter, because it's like, damn, it's just the ultimate and final cuck. Raising a daughter in the modern world, raising a daughter, period, knowing that most likely, caring for her, reading her stories, paying for college and all that, just for some other man to like enjoy her and like just for her to get her face fucked in college and stuff. Like, I mean, let's be real. But I can't do that. Men don't even get a paper abortion. It's like women can do it, but you can't. And abortion is eugenics in part. I mean, especially in the context of like Margaret Sanger and like the people who popularized abortion or whatever, because they didn't want poor people to breed. They didn't want like unfit people, stupid people to breed for the betterment of humanity or whatever, so we can like move towards transhumanism, I guess, where like, because eugenics is obviously a thing. It's obviously always going to play some sort of role in society. It's just a matter of how explicit, I guess. But yeah, it's eugenics. That's why I say that. They don't, like, these women don't care about they're not doing it because they can't care for the baby, because like especially in America, it's like, come on now, you can, if you really want to raise a child, it's not that hard. Like, it's really not that hard. I really hate that whole myth that parenting is hard. It's like no, it's just that, like anything that's hard for a woman, it deprives you of your ability to be selfish. So that's what makes it so quote unquote hard. And that's probably why, the deadbeat dad is considered such an asshole, because he's the one who's capable, of helping. Women need help in fucking everything from a man. They refuse to admit it. So you got these women who live nowhere near Alabama or Georgia, like, so invested in this issue, and the amount of emotion that they generate for this is just, it really makes you raise an eyebrow. And then that's when people like me start thinking about it deeper, like, why are they so... And of course it doesn't take long to come to the conclusion, like, oh, it's because everything for women revolves around their vaginas and their ability to like sleep around and like be as irresponsible as possible for as long as possible, ideally forever in their lives. Individualism, selfish individualism, Satanism, obviously, I'm going to get into that a little bit. Of course, I'm in favor of abortion for antinatalist reasons. I kind of don't like that I support or like feel like I have to, because there's a lot of people who support it based on liberal reasons. But it is hard to defend, because when you see like what they do to the fetus, it's really grotesque. And it's kind of like the same thing as circumcision, which is kind of also pretty disturbing. Like, if you actually see how it looks and actually see the operation and stuff, it's kind of hard to support it. But nonetheless, I still am in favor of it for completely unorthodox reasons. But yeah, it is pretty hard to defend when you actually know what it looks like. But yeah, Satanism. One thing I noticed, like the feminist logo with the fist and the female logo or whatever, is actually there's an upside down cross. I don't know if that's intentional. I'm sure it's a happy coincidence for a lot of feminists. But yeah, like upside down cross. just kind of noticed that. It fits perfectly with the whole, selling baby organs, like selling baby foreskins that they sliced off. Like they do sell that shit. And does definitely have like a satanic feel to it, I guess you could say. And then you got these women bragging about, oh, I want to get an abortion, so I can use it as a conversation piece in my living room. Use the skull as a conversation piece in my living room. Like, I understand you're probably trying to be edgy, and you're probably saying that for shock value to like offend Christians or whatever, but that's still some fucked up shit to say, and you should be ashamed of yourself for even thinking that. But it's not like these women know anything about shame, so I guess it's pointless for me to say that, right? But yeah, they value their anatomy above life, period. Like it's more valuable than life to them. And when I say anatomy, I mean the V. And it's the same reason you got a lot of femoids saying things like, oh, rape is worse than death, because like it's literally that valuable to them. That's why they think all sub-7 men must die, because they don't want to live in a world where like there's even the slightest chance that a man might get access to them through rape, and that's why you got rape hysteria, that's why you got creep hysteria and all that stuff. It reminds me of the gay guy on Brain Cells that I was talking about earlier. I was talking about how they, women really do feel like all sub-7 or ugly guys should just be genocided. They really do feel that. It's pretty fucked up. But of course, they're women, so they're never held accountable. The very reason that they can be this evil is because they're never held accountable for their actions. It's like such a psychopathic system we have, It's fucked up. But back on antinatalism, I have to think like what really is worth preserving in the world, Is it the environment? Because I'm not so sure. Like, is it just the things that humans like nature, trees and shit? Random animals that aren't even aware of their own existence, really, to the extent that we are. This one natalist was running his mouth to me in an argument about, like, oh, human beings are the universe. Why would you want humans to go extinct? So what? We're just subjugating inferior species, blah, blah, blah. But you could also apply that to humans oppressing other humans, which I don't think that person would do, this being a Reddit poster and all. But it's just funny how offended these normies get when arguing against natalism. Like, they take it so personally. That's just their stupid egos. He said something like, human beings are the universe experiencing itself, which is like, that's like the epitome of navel gazing to me, but it's beside the point. So what, like nature, like our totally calculated nature, like our precise lawns that we have to mow every other day or whatever, cut into a perfect square alongside the concrete, like that's nature. That's what we should be preserving. No, not really. It's more like wilderness, I guess, would be a more appropriate word. Are humans nature? I don't know, I guess this is getting too meta, but anyways, that is the gift and the curse that we have, though, is that we're actually cognizant of the world and our own suffering, whereas other animals aren't really. Animals don't give a damn about whether they exist or not, and they don't really have the brain power to even perceive that. So I guess that is a somewhat valid aspect of that natalist's point. The same life that these people protect and obsess over so much oftentimes isn't even worth living, and they're wasting their time obsessing over security and having money and savings and stuff when they could just be living life, and enjoying life. I pity those kinds of people. Because for me, it's like there's only so much I'm willing to do for money and security. You know, I'd rather have a few decades chopped off my lifespan and like enjoy my life more than like live longer like a domestic cat or something, you know, or like a domestic husband or whatever. So the difference between me and the average person, like, there's so many things that I say, oh, I would rather be homeless than have to do that than the normie would never even contemplate, because of their fear of the unknown, or their fear of being different or being outcast from the rest of society, which is a piece of shit anyways. But, you know, these egoists are going to keep having kids, which are basically like slaves and company, people to keep them company, if we're being real with ourselves. That's why teenagers rebel, because, you don't get to choose your family, and they want to be like independent and take charge of their lives. That's also why I say freedom is overrated, because like it doesn't really exist, first of all, because existence itself is compulsory. So I mean, there's really no such thing as freedom. Suicide is hard enough that existence is compulsory, really. And then you have to think about how to affect other people and stuff, and there's so much. So that goes into the whole cognizant thing, like the gift and the curse of cognizance, of suffering and all that, whatever. We are social animals, because I mean, this is somewhat of a different topic, but I was thinking about that Thoreau guy who's famous for saying, I felt more alone amongst company than in the woods alone, something like that. But it's, at the same time, it's like your experiences kind of suck and are empty and meaningless unless you share them with somebody else. It's like even that experience of just being in the woods alone, clearly he shared it with a lot of other people. So in a way, your experiences aren't even real until you share them with somebody else, or else they just stay in your head the entire time, right? You might as well just live off your imagination or in some sort of virtual reality if you see value in just experiencing things alone and never sharing them with anybody at any point. You could even look at MGTOW for an example of this. Like those posts that they're always making about how, oh, look at me in the Harlem projects, live it up, guys, yeah. Look at this macaroni TV dinner that I just heated up. Good thing I don't have a woman here to tell me I can't eat this. Like, clearly they still feel some compulsion to share their lonesome bliss, and that's why clearly we're social creatures, because if not, these dudes are just, because the people who don't get to share their experiences like that surely are more miserable than those who don't, all else being equal. So yeah, I was just thinking about that. Even me, I'm like literally sitting here recording because I want to share this. Like, I want to share my thoughts, at some point or another.